how difficult, and this might sound like a very general question, but how difficult is it being a modern professional woman in Pakistan today?
I have to be honest. I don't find it difficult.
Is that because you're famous? Is that because you're protected by you have a team around you? You have
I don't have a team around me. I have one person around me, you know. Yesterday somebody called her my half-girlfriend. Yes. So we're sort of in this relationship, which people think we have a team. I'm going to let you in on a secret, and after that I'll answer your question.
Sure.
So anytime someone calls Seher or me or whatever, Seher's standard answers, I'm going to check with the team. Who is the team? Who is this team? The team is just me and her sitting in my brother's room. Like, no, that's us. Like, that's the team. Okay? There's no PR.
It sounds more professional though. I'll check with the team.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming back to your question, how difficult is it being a modern woman? I don't think it's very difficult. But that's also because I come from a family where I have been allowed to make certain choices. I've been given the freedom of choice, really, you know. It's not like they don't come down on me. It's not like I'm not like, I'm totally like my a bar, like they're the wardens.
Right.
They've got the keys to that prison. And I have to be back at a certain time. You know?
No, you don't. You do not. Mahira Khan is not on curfew every night when she goes out.
Please ask.
Unfortunately, your manager's not in shot right now, so you're going to have to tell us this. But is this real? You are...
It's real. The only time I'm a free bird is if I'm outside of the country. And I'm like, okay, chilling and stuff like that. But even then, my mother knows exactly where I am. And she's like, oh, and if she doesn't get through to me, it's Seher. But when I'm back home, oh my God.
So going off on a bit of a tangent, you also have a son yourself. So how does your son react to when he sees his nanny telling his mum off?
Oh, he loves it.
Oh, really?
He loves it. I mean, he enjoys this whole family dynamic a lot. Okay. But he's the most mature person in the family.
Really?
Yes.
Amazing.
Mature, sensitive, understanding. Like if me and my mother ever have a fight or an argument, he'll come to me. He's like, "Do you understand that she's your mother?
Oh.
Would you like it if I say this to you?" I was like,
wow.
I'm like, okay. And then he goes to my mother's room and he's like, Do you realize Mama is hurting?
I love it.
Yeah.
So
it's lovely.
In between being the daughter that your mother wants and being the mother that your son wants, where do you have time to be Mahira Khan?
Which Mahira Khan?
The real Mahira Khan. Not the Mahira Khan in front of the cameras. The normal Mahira Khan.
Oh God. I think that the few, that's why I don't sleep. I don't sleep at night because after I'm done, I find that that's my time. I need that time, you know.
I mean, I find that really interesting, and maybe I hadn't really thought about it in so much detail. But, you know, people have acting or films and TV as their full-time career, and for you it's a part-time hobby more than it is a full-time career.
It's a part-time career. I mean, it's a hobby, you could say, if it makes it sound like nicer, but it's a career, you know. It's a career I love. It's a job I love, but it is a career, you know. I know that there are times when let's say I don't want to do a certain something and I think, no, I need to do this because I need to be doing this to make ends meet.
Sure.
So for me, yes. But that's why, you know, that's why I'm very particular about, okay, I'll do this many brands so that I can do a small film like Varna.
Amazing.
Or whatever it is that I want to do in my area of passion. So yeah.
You said that it's not difficult for you being a modern professional woman in Pakistan, but the trolls are incessant, Mahira. I see them for you. It's gone from being part of the job to being a real type of harassment in a way.
Absolutely. Again, this is not just in Pakistan. Trolling is an epidemic.
But there's now social stigmas attached to what is expected of a Pakistani woman. Comments that you get via trolling are because of what you might wear, or the fact that you might not be at home with your son, or the fact that you are doing films that challenge stereotypes. There is now an added level of trolling that happens to you specifically for all these reasons.
Yes, but that's... Again, look at how I see these trolls, and by the way, I think trolling is so last year. It's so passé. And I wanted to write that. I wanted to say, you know, people need to get on with the trend. They need to be on trend. So they need to use their voice for something positive now, because that's today. And that's what people are doing. So trolling is last year. But if you want, but it still exists. It is a reality. And I know, you're telling me I deal with it all the time. But I look at these guys as nameless, faceless people who are bored and sitting and talking about it. The more I feed them, the more they will become bigger and grow. So what I have to do is exactly what I'm doing, which is, whether I make a mistake, whether I do it right or wrong, that's your opinion. But I have to do what I have to do. And I will continue to do that. Is that difficult sometimes? Yes. Yes, that is difficult. But, and also, sorry, I want to go back to what you were saying. Is it easier because I'm successful? Yes. Yes. I was just telling a journalist that she's like, you know, you're a single mother, you know, and you have all these things which are stigmas at the end of the day. You know, that's how we look at them, or at least how our society in some way looks at them. And she said, is it easier for you to say that I can deal with this because you're successful? I said, yes. You're absolutely right. Because today, if something happens, let's say if a film doesn't do well, and this happens, the minute one film or two films don't do well, suddenly all the things that you wore on your shirt as badges, like, yes, so I'm divorced, yes, so I'm a mother, all these things suddenly turn around and become negative. Yeah. So, yes, you're right. I mean, but the flip side is that I'm going to try not to make them negative. I'll still wear them, like,
good.
Yeah,
good
medals on my shirt, yeah.
You mentioned the Time's Up and Me Too campaigns and movements that are taking place in Hollywood. The Time's Up and Me Too campaigns in Pakistan seems to have had a mixed reaction, though, whether that be a director, Shameen Obaid Chinoy, who called out a doctor who had harassed her sister. She got trolled for that, saying that she'd pushed it too far. Or the opposite side is a veteran actor like Javed Sheikh harmlessly greeting you at an award function, and that gets turned into he was taking advantage of being next to a well-known film personality. Why has Pakistan not found that balance yet?
Well, because again, I don't know if it's Pakistan or if it's but since you're asking me, and I'm, you know, it's my country and I can speak for it, I guess. I think that when you follow a trend, so Me Too, Time's Up has now become a trend, right? These are trends. You should not follow it blindly. And that sometimes that is what happens. You want to be part of a trend. You don't understand it fully, and it's very important to understand it fully. You have to understand what harassment means. As a simple word which is so basic, like feminist, you have to read up about it, have the information, have the knowledge. So when you are informed, you will then make informed choices, decisions, or have informed opinions. And that, I feel, is the problem. That we've been quick to say, oh, wait a second, why is she saying this? She is lying because we don't agree with her. So this is not harassment. On the other hand, there's this man, a legend, who is just harmlessly was going to hug me. I didn't look, I turned away, and oh, Me Too. This is that part of, I think these are the people on social media who are uninformed. Again, people who don't understand it fully.
You mentioned the word feminist there, and the film festival you're here for has a particular emphasis on a feminist movement this year. Interestingly, the character that you received most love for, Kirat, has now been accused of being regressive and not a feminist.
Which I disagree with, completely.
Tell me about that, because I find that very interesting. This was a character that you played in a TV play called Hamsafar, which was hugely popular world over. And for the reason, actually, that many people got to know about you and fell in love with you. And now we are, 5 years later, saying that that character was regressive, that she was not a feminist. How do you feel about that?
No, I think it's ill-informed. You have to watch it and then tell me, did you find Khalid regressive? You may have again, look how...
I'm telling you, I didn't find her regressive.
I did not find her regressive at all. She was... she could have had so many insecurities. Here she was, because, I mean, again, we do our research, we read the novel, we get into backstories and stuff like that. And I remember reading the novel and feeling like, wow, what a character. She has such spine. She decides... And again, what they talk about being regressive is when she was being kicked out and she's banging on the doors. How is that anti-feminist? How do you define feminism? And I ask this, anytime someone throws this question to me, I throw a googly back at them, because I'm like, wait a second, if I get kicked out for something, I'm getting accused for something I haven't done, human nature is such that I'm going to be like, listen to me, I'm going to beg you, you are the love of my life, we're about to have a child, and I'm telling you, don't do this, because I'm not lying. I'm not a liar. That's all she kept saying.
And she's firm in her stance afterwards, where she doesn't want anything to do with him.
What does she do? She begs, she pleads, she says, don't do this, because I'm not a liar, and you know it. And then she says, okay, bye. And she never looks back. When does she look back? When her child has to be operated and she has no money. So she says, okay, now I'm going to go to her father and I'm going to go back. So, I mean, it's easy to say these things, right? Because it makes you, again, part of a bandwagon that say that, oh, women on TV are regressive. No, watch it. I'm sure, of course there are regressive plays. I'm sure they've shown, and there are many times, I'm not going to disagree with that a lot of times we show women very regressive. I would say we show men very regressive.
I agree.
I don't think we show women so regressive as we do men.
Because, I mean, Fawad's character was a bit of a pushover in
Absolutely. You know, people tell me, do you want women characters written better, female characters written better in TV? And I said, no, I want male characters written better. Because, you see, it's a balance. You bring up the male characters, you show a man with a spine. You show that, because, again, don't just show a powerful woman. Show a powerful man. And when I say powerful, I mean using your power correctly. Show a woman who's a good woman, whatever you want to show. You want to show her with a dupatta, do it. But show that she has a spine, that when something happens, she doesn't take it lying low. And similarly, show a man standing up for his wife or his mother or whoever. You have to play it both ways. You can't show a woman being empowered and a man being regressive.
Absolutely. What I think is great is when we were in this particular location the last time, one of my questions to you was, do you hope the kind of aura or the kind of hype of Humsafar dies down? Do you hope that you can move on from that character? And I really think you have in the last 2 or 3 years. You know, I think whether that was Home and Jahan or whether that was Verna or even Reis have really helped you establish yourself beyond that character. Does it feel good to have shed that kiratness off?
No, I love her.
But you were saying to me, you know, it is
sometimes it's overwhelming. Even now it's overwhelming. But it's my most untainted work. It's me. There's nothing not real about it. Amazing. I didn't know anything. I just sat there, you know, I could just be honest to the lines, and that, I wish to have that again. You know, when I wasn't bothered. You know?
Maula Jatt people are very, very excited about.
So am I.
You know, there's several aspects to it. There's you and Fawad together again. It's a remake of an old Punjabi film that people are really excited about. I'm not going to ask you to speak Punjabi right now because, you know, I don't know how comfortable you are doing that. But
the dialogues that I just learned. Those are dialogues of the climax. So if I do, you know, I was thinking about that can I? I think I'd give away the last bit.
We'll leave that until we see the actual trailer of the film now. Tell me about that new challenge, because learning Punjabi, a language you're not familiar with at all, and tell me also about reuniting with Fawad.
Yeah, so you know, Maula Jatt, it's such an interesting project. I'm so happy that I did it. I don't know how it's going to fare. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm so glad that I took this challenge up. Because Punjabi, the language, it has such flair. Like I can't explain it.
क्योंकि मैं पंजाबी हूँ लेकिन मेरी पंजाबी बिल्कुल टूटी फूटी है मैं बिल्कुल भी पंजाबी नहीं बोल सकता. Your Punjabi would still be better.
Allah, मेरी पंजाबी तो इनसे बेहतर है. Oh my God, I wish you were acting opposite me. I'd be like, see? But you know, there's something about Punjabi. So even when I translate it in Urdu, it doesn't have that push. It doesn't have that flair.
You can't be rude to anybody in Urdu. That's
Exactly.
my problem.
And especially me, because I'm very like, my Urdu is very like, and I know that I'm like, oh. So Punjabi is like it has this thing to it, you know, zing to it. So I loved it. The only problem is that I haven't had time with it, right?
Yeah.
And I kept, like even now when I went, it was hilarious, by the way. I just came back from Maula and I came here, right? And they didn't tell me that I have dialogues, nothing. I arrived on set and I got the dialogue. I was like, I'm not doing it. I created this big scene. I was like, Bilal, I'm not going to do it. And they were like, you have to do it. We're going to work with you. You have to do it. And it went really well. But for me, it's nerve-wracking, you know, to be learning something, to get the dialect.
And all of your co-stars are Punjabi?
Yes.
To some extent?
To some extent.
To some extent.
Hamza is. So Hamza sits with, like if Hamza's on set, then I call him and I'm like, can you come an hour early because you need to, because he's very good.
Because even Fawad is Lahori, right? He's not Punjabi, but he is Lahori.
He's Lahori.
He's familiar with the dialect.
Yes, he is more familiar than I am, but he's also not, he's not Punjabi speaking, so it's
going to be very interesting.
It's very interesting.
I can't wait for that one.
He's really good in it.
Okay, well, at least you gave us something there, because you're staying away from talking about this Fawad Mahira reunion on screen.
Because, you know, that's another thing. You see, it's like Humsafar. It's such a, it's something that is not in our hands, right? It's something that we didn't, it's organic. It's something that happened organically. Now, so when we're coming together, obviously there's a little bit of, do we still have it?
Oh, come on. You know you two still have it. You know it. You've done adverts together. You've done commercials together. You know you still have it.
But it's a film, you know. But yes, there's one thing about, I think, me and Fawad. This is a rare quality. You know, I speak to all my co-actors, like all day long. We'll be having chai together and khana together, whatever. And of course, I do the same with Fawad, but there are times where me and Fawad won't speak all day. You know, I'm doing my thing, he does his thing. We come into a scene together and we sort of know each other's beats. I don't know if you know what I mean by that. So which is lovely, you know. It's really nice that someone gets you and you get that person without even really talking, you know.
I was in Karachi about 6 months ago and I arrived in the city, and just from the drive from the airport to my hotel, I saw your face everywhere. You are everywhere at all times, and yet you feel like you're doing nothing at all. Yes. What is that?
Don't know. Now you've trapped me.
Is it
because now I don't have an answer. But I think, I don't know. See, how you look at me, how you perceive me, or her, or anybody else. I don't know that. I can't, you know, so, because I don't come out of my body to see myself. And even if I did, I'd probably look at myself like, dork. But for me, I feel like, no, I haven't done anything. Like, you know?
Is your family getting a bit fed up of seeing your face on billboards all over the city? Because they are.
They are. Then I don't go out much. I don't actually. I think that's what it is.
Really?
I think I don't go out much. I really haven't seen much of my, but then yes, my trip is like Aslan's school back then there, so it's very like, you know, monitored. But my family doesn't really care much for these kind of things.
You mentioned Aslan's school. Do you do the school run?
Yes, if I'm in town, absolutely.
Actually, you know what? Once we were supposed to speak, and you picked up the call and you said to me, I'm just picking up Aslan from school, I'll call you back in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is Mahira Khan, she does the school run.
Absolutely.
Do you make packed lunches for him?
We make packed lunch. Well, as in, do I pack them? Yeah, when I'm home and when I have the time, but usually my father does. Wow. And I love it because my father did that for me all my life.
Amazing.
Yes. My father is my mother, my mother is my father. My mother's going to hate this. And she had told me specifically, no mention of my name.
But at least we're not doing impressions of her today, which I know she's not a fan of you doing.
Not at all.